So shall we start, sir?
Yes, sir.
Yes. More people will join. Some people, almost some 5-10 people are joining. Yeah, we'll start. Good evening, students. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Rohit. Okay. Today we have Mr. Siddharth Pandey here. Mr. Siddharth Pandey has done his BA LLB from Jaipur National University, and he has worked as a management trainee at AU Financials India Limited, and he has been appointed as a legal counsel for Shriram General Insurance Company Limited, Jaipur, and he's a expert in matters of consumer cases with regard to insurance claims. Today, we will try to understand through Siddharth sir with regard to how consumer matter with pertaining to insurance claims is dealt from the side of an insurance company. So this is the side of where we have to look into how insurance companies try to save themselves from fraudulent claims or other claims. So we'll try to know a bit about the practice side and also about bit about law. Sir, we welcome you to this seminar, and the stage is yours, sir. And we thank you very much for giving us this opportunity to know about the insurance side, about the consumer affairs. The stage is all to you, sir. We can start.
Thank you, sir. Hello, everyone. I am Siddharth Pandey. So today we'll be discussing about Consumer Act. In last lectures, I've seen the videos. In last lecture, you already know the Consumer Act in the origin as a whole. But today we'll not discuss the Consumer Act as a whole, only in the context of insurance sector and how can you approach consumer courts in respect to insurance companies, in respect to the claims of insurance companies. What kinds of cases we can take to the insurance to the consumer court? We'll discuss about that only. So in the brief, I'll tell you about something about the comparison of the old act and the new act. So the difference majorly between old act and new act is only in only three parts. One is, in the old act there was no inclusion of e-commerce and telecommunication services, teleservices. In the new act, the inclusion of online services, tele shopping services is there. In the old act there was no mediation cells. In the new act there are mediation cells. In the old act there was no CCPS, Center Protection Authority. In the new act there's CCPA is there, and pecuniary jurisdiction is also changed. So in brief we'll discuss about it. First of all, so ambit of law. In the old act, all services and goods were there for consideration. In the new act, everything is same, but inclusion of online services and tele shopping services is also there. Then unfair trade practices. In the old act, this includes 6 types of trade practices like false representation, misleading advertisement. In the new act, the services include failure to issue a bill or receipt, refusal to accept a good within 30 days, disclosure of personal information. Then in product liability, there was no provision in the old act, but in the new act, there is a product liability. For example, you can claim for product liability can be made against manufacturer, service provider, and seller. The service provider that includes the facilitator. Suppose I am a seller and there's a facilitator, an online service provider. In the old act, there was no law regarding that. You have to go to civil court. But in consumer forum, in the new act, the person who is a seller, who is a facilitator, they both are included. They both are the party to the matter. Then mediation cell. In the previous act, there was no mediation cell. There was no right to be mediation. There's nothing like that. In the new act, chapter 5 provides the mediation cell provision. Mediation cell are formed, and consumer commission will try to mediate first. Then the regulator. In the old act, there was no provision of regulator, but in the new act, the CCPA is formed, Central Consumer Protection Authority is formed. Now, Central Consumer Protection Authority, CCPA, can issue safety notices, pass order to recall goods, prevent unfair practices, reimburse purchase price paid, impose penalties for false and misleading advertisement. Then pecuniary jurisdiction, that is changed. Previously, it was in district forum, it was up to 20 lakh. State, it was between 20 lakh to 1 crore. National Commission, it was about 1 crore. Now in district, it is up to 1 crore. State, between 1 to 10 crore. And in national, about 10 crore. Now, we must understand that what is the pecuniary jurisdiction? Pecuniary jurisdiction is the compensation that the person asks from the court, from the other party. The compensation, not the value of the good. The compensation is the pecuniary jurisdiction. Suppose I purchased something for 10,000 rupees, but the compensation I'm asking is for 80,000. So 80,000 is pecuniary jurisdiction. Now composition of commission, nothing has changed much, but in state commission previously it was headed by one president and 2 members. Now it is headed by a president and 4 members. The president can be former, current High Court judge. That has changed. The appointment has changed. Previously, there was a selection committee that comprised of judicial member and other officers that will recommend on the commission, that will appoint the commission appointment. Now there is no provision of selection committee. Central government will appoint through notification. So that has changed. Dispute redressal that I told you, there was no provision. Now there is mediation cell. Yeah, we need to understand mediation cell will be attached to district, state, and national commission. All of that. All right. Now the penalties. Penalties has changed. Previously, it was a person who does not comply with the order of commission may face imprisonment between 1 month to 3 years, or fine between 2,000 to 10,000, or both. Now a person who doesn't comply with the orders of the commission may face imprisonment for 3 years, or fine not less than 25,000 up to 1 lakh, or both. E-commerce has been added. So this is in brief what has changed. We in the previous lecture already we have discussed about the origin and everything. So now I'll tell you about the from the side of insurance companies. So who can approach a consumer forum in respect to insurance company? So first of all, we'll understand what is a policy. What is an insurance policy? So insurance policy is a contract between 2 parties. Suppose insurance company and you, only 2 parties are involved. It is a contract. It is binding on both the parties and it is on a goodwill. So what kind of policies are there in general insurance companies? There are motor policies, there are non-motor policies, there are motor personal policies. So in motor policies, there are 2 types of claims which arises. First one is theft claim and other one is damage claim. Theft claim, we all know, when a vehicle is lost, is theft. It comes under theft claim, and damage, when a vehicle met an accident and there is a loss, it comes under damage claim. So we'll discuss it by one. Now, non-motor policies are fire policies, natural, anything that include natural calamities, group personal accident policies, those are non-motor policies. And the other one is personal accident policies, which general insurance companies issue. So we'll talk about major part, 95% part of insurance companies from the motor policy, general insurance companies motor policy. So in motor policies, there are 2 parts. One is liability part and other one is own damage part. In liability part, it is third person TP, and in the motor part, it is theft of the vehicle or damage of the vehicle. Wait a second. So whenever there is a theft of a vehicle, uh, uh, how to intimate insurance company is, first of all, you have to intimate insurance company within 48 hours and file an FIR. So insurance company can either pay the claim or reject the claim. So there are few grounds on which insurance company reject the claim, and if you are not if you are not do not agree with those grounds, we can approach consumer forums. So first of all, I'll tell you the grounds of theft claims in which insurance company reject the claim in theft claims. First one is delay intimation. Whenever there is a delay intimation to company or the FIR, delay FIR, insurance company reject the claims. Delay, what is delay? So 48 hours, within 48 hours, insured should intimate insurance company. Now Supreme Court in this view has taken some stand. So Supreme Court in recent judgment Gurshinder versus Shriram General Insurance Company also said that insurance company cannot reject a claim on merely on the technical grounds that a person has not intimated the company within 48 hours, because if he's intimated the police, if FIR has been filed, then it is a right of insurance, it is a right of insured to take claim, and insurance company cannot take a shield of uh, not paying this delay intimation. Now second one is negative FR. Suppose you filed an FIR, but upon the investigation it came into light that the claim was not there, the theft was not there, it is a fraudulent. So then also we reject the claim. Third one is misrepresentation of fact. Now, misrepresentation of fact include fake policy, forgery. Suppose a person has given us the fake policy, or fraud has committed a fraud, then also we will not pay the insured, will reject the claim. Fourth one is breach of trust. Now, breach of trust is something interesting. Uh, as I told you, insurance policy is a contract between two persons. So breach of trust is, I have you're taking a policy from insurance company, but you're given your vehicle on lease to the third person, and that person takes away the vehicle. Now that's breach of trust under section 405 of IPC, because the third person who has taken the vehicle, you're giving that person the charge of the vehicle, and he is not contractual liable. We are not liable to pay to him. So there is a breach of trust. Then there is NCB, no claim bonus. If you're given a false declaration that in the previous years there is an option of NCB, no claim bonus, when you do not take a claim from insurance company from past few years, for example from last 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, every year insurance company pay you a reward by giving you an NCB, no claim bonus, a discount. If you have said that I have not taken a claim from the company from last 2 year or 1 year and taken the discount from the company, that comes into false NCB if you are taking the benefits in the previous years. Because insurance, as I told you, is a contract and it is upon the trust. So you have given the declaration, we have trusted you. If you're given declaration that I am not taking the any claim from previous years, we trust you and we give you the policy. Now insurance company has a liability to check it within 21 days. So if insurance company doesn't check it within 21 days, then Supreme Court has, National Commission has come with a judgment of New India Assurance versus Naresh Kumar, that on the proportionate basis, insurance company can deduct the claim. For example, you're given a wrong declaration and taken the discount of 20% in the premium. Then the compensation, the 20% compensation will also be deducted from the IDV or survey report. And then one is limitation. If you have intimated us after suppose 3 years, 4 years, then the limitation ground comes into play and the claim has been rejected. Suppose vehicle is not registered. If the vehicle is not registered, within 15 days, new vehicle has to be registered. If the vehicle is not registered, insurance company will reject the claim. Then sometimes there is a premium issue. Suppose you're given the insurance company check for as a premium, and that check get bounced after 3 days, 4 days. Insurance company will cancel the policy, and in the meantime, if some accident occur, the insurance company will reject the claim. Then it is one ground is non-insurable interest. Now, non-insurable interest is suppose a person has taken the policy from insurance company and sold the vehicle to the B person. Now, person B must endorse the policy within 15 days. If he doesn't endorse the policy within 15 days and the policy continues to be in the name of A person and something happens, if theft, damage, something happens, insurance company will reject the claim because we are not contractually liable to the B person and you already sold the vehicle. So you are not the owner of the vehicle. And last one is gross negligence. Now in gross negligence, mostly we do not repudiate the claim, but suppose you have parked your vehicle somewhere in a jungle for 10 days, 12 days, you're not taking care of it, you're not parked the vehicle in the parking area or anywhere. So this is negligence on your part. So sometimes we pay the claim on non-standard basis, and if it is a gross negligence, we do not pay, we reject it. Now, other thing, these are the grounds of rejection for theft claims. Now comes damage. Damage is when a vehicle get accident. So what are the grounds when we reject the claim? First one is invalid DL. So for invalid DL, if we do not possess a valid DL, we reject the claim. We do not reject the claim on the ground of invalid DL or in theft. As because in theft you do not need a DL. Second is when we have already paid to the financer in total loss matter. Sometimes when there is a total loss matter, first rightful owner of the compensation is the financer, because he is the owner, you are the owner, but financer has paid you the money. So if we'll pay the insured the compensation amount and the insured doesn't pay to the financer doesn't have anything to recover it. So it is the rightful right of financer to take the claim. Then there's permit issues, fitness issue. If the vehicle doesn't hold, commercial vehicle doesn't hold valid permit, the claim is rejected. And if doesn't hold fitness, the claim is again rejected. Few points are same in theft and damage, such as vehicle is not registered, then also claim is rejected. Non-insurable interest and policy term and condition is violated, the claim is rejected. One more ground is there's misrepresentation. Suppose the damage is old, there is no new damage, old damage. Damage is 6 months old, and you're not intimated the insurance company, and after 6 months you thought that okay, if some other damage will occur, I'll tell to insurance company so that together we'll make the repairs. So that's not allowed. So in that also we reject the claim. So these are the grounds on which the claim is rejected in motor part. Now there are also general insurance company also issue non-motor policies such as for the natural calamities, fire, group accident, personal accident. And one more thing is there's a PA accident claim policy. So what is motor PA claim accident policy? Will not discuss right now. Will not discuss a non-motor, because those does consist 2-3% of the general insurance business, but PA claim does consist a major part, because in the recent amendments from the government, PA claim, when the owner driver is died in an accident, 15 lakh compensation is been rewarded. It's been paid as a compensation. Sorry, not rewarded. So in motor PA accident, what we need is there must be a death of owner driver. The owner driver, who is the owner driver? Who is the registered owner of the vehicle, and he must be in the vehicle at the time of the accident, and there must be death, total disability, or 50% disability. 50% disability means amputation of one hand, one leg, one eye must be there. So in 100% disability or death, 15 lakh rupees shall be paid. Previously it was in two-wheeler 1 lakh, and in four-wheeler it was 2 lakh. It has been increased to 15 lakh. And if there's 50% disability, suppose amputation of one hand, one leg, one eye, then 7.5 lakh, 50% of the amount shall be given as a compensation. So how can, now the question is, how can we approach a consumer court? So previously the pecuniary jurisdiction of district consumer forum was 20 lakh. Now it has been increased to 1 crore. So most of the cases now will come to district consumer commission. It has been forum, it has been changed to commission. So in the if there's a theft of the vehicle, what we consider is the IDV, insured declared value of the vehicle. So that is the IDV of the vehicle. For that the compensation in accordance to IDV is given. And when there is a damage of the vehicle, insurance company appoint a surveyor to assess the loss of the vehicle. Now when a surveyor is appointed, it is a rule by IRDA that only one surveyor, first surveyor is appointed. You cannot appoint more than one surveyor. There are some cases when insurance company appoint more than one surveyor, but you have to take the consent of the other party, I mean the insured. You have to take the consent of the insured to appoint one more surveyor, for one more than one surveyor. How do we approach consumer forum in this matter? Is under section 35, you have to file an application. If your claim is rejected on any of these grounds and you do not agree with the insurance company and you seek redressal, you go to the consumer court. Now in the new act, you can also go to the CCPA. All right. So CCPA comprise of a collector, the district collector, and in the every district CCPA shall be formed. So either you can go to the consumer forum or you can go to CCPA, and out of, if you do not want to go to the consumer commissions, you can go to the ombudsman, insurance ombudsman. In both, in all three of them, if you are in, suppose in insurance ombudsman, then you cannot file the complaint simultaneously in CCPA or the district forum. And suppose you are in the vice versa, in any of the commission, in any of the redressal forums, you cannot file a complaint in any other commissions. If you are not, suppose you are going to the CCPA to file a complaint, and you do not agree with the decision, you can file a revision in National Commission against the CCPA order. Now we'll talk about consumer protection courts, how you can approach a consumer protection forum. Suppose a claim is rejected, you approach consumer protection forum. Now the Consumer Protection Forums has also made a mediation cells. So in the initial days, if you do not agree with if both the parties agree on the fact that we want mediation, then in writing, both the parties, insurance company as well as insured, has to give it in the writing that we want to take our case to the mediation cell. The case is sent to the mediation cell. If not, then the first party, the respondent, has to file reply within 45 days, 30 plus 15, 30 days plus 15 days. If reply is not filed within 45 days, I'll say 13 plus 30 plus 50, because 30 days is the as per the act, and 15 days in upon the discretion of the court. If the reply is not filed within 45 days, the person can right to file the reply is closed, and you cannot give any evidence, and it will be ex parte case. You will to file a review petition upon state commission or any of the higher authorities, higher courts. Second, when you file the reply within 45 days, you have to file an evidence, counter affidavit, counter evidence in the response to the complaint. And after you file the counter evidence, the argument will be taken place, and again the courts will try to mediate. If both the parties do not mediate or doesn't reach a common ground, the court shall give an award. If the other party, suppose the award is in against the insurance company doesn't comply with the award, then you have to write to file an execution against the insurance company, and under the execution a fine and imprisonment is there. So in brief, these are the way on which you can go to the consumer forums. Now we'll talk about these features of new act in accordance to the insurance company, how new act will help insurance company. So first of all, previously there was no mediation cell. Now there is a mediation cell. So the insurance company and insured both can mediate on a ground, and previously there was cases used to linger on for 6 years, 7 years, 10, 8 years. There were some courts when 8 years cases were there. So there will be some speedy redressal of the cases. Then second point, which is very important, CCPA. Now till date we are not gone through CCPA, but theoretically it seems that CCPA will make a speedy redressal of the complaints. Right now, because from last 1 year there is no case which has been taken to CCPA, but let's see how CCPA works. So in context to insurance companies, there are claims which are fraudulent too. So how insurance company redress those claims is by, suppose in theft claims, we insurance company appoint a investigator who investigate, a private investigator who investigate the claim. Now the private investigator is not, what can I say, not approved from IRDA, but a private investigator brings some evidence, we can file it before consumer forums. Then second, in damage, we appoint surveyor. Those surveyor are approved from IRDA. Those IRDA approved surveyor file and go to the place, spot survey, the spots on the accident place, spot survey, and final survey has been made. Those surveyor are well enough acquainted with the facts, that how to check the vehicle. If there is an old damage, they bring into the light, and all the papers are collected by surveyors. Now third point is in personal accident claims. In personal accident claims also, an investigator is appointed which investigate the claims by going to the house and the place and the police station, collect all the criminal papers, and if there's a fraud, he'll tell the insurance companies. So these are the methods insurance companies came to know that if there's a fraudulent activities. In the although in the last few years these fraudulent activities has reduced drastically. Before it was much more, but the act, the courts, the investigations, they have the technology, it has increased so much that it has been reduced.
Hello, Siddharth sir.
Yes, sir.
I have one question.
Yes,
This
sir.
is related to investigation.
Yes, sir.
Suppose, sir, investigation is taking too much time.
Yes,
Then
sir.
customer need to wait for a longer time for the settlement or everything getting benefit from the insurance. So how much time can be stretched for this investigation purpose, we can say?
Sir, the investigation does take place within 30 days. It does not
Okay.
get, mostly it does not get stressed.
Because
Suppose,
in the competition of the different companies of insurance provider, they are during the sales, they are showing we have faster claim settlement. We do very quickly. This is one kind of competition within the insurance provider companies. So
sir,
two things
right.
they come with claim settlement ratio, and the second thing they come with faster closing the case, faster settlement of the benefit to the customers. So this is also one matter where we need to think upon, like how much time can be allocated for purpose of the investigation, whether it is a private or IRDA allocated investigation, something like that. Yes.
Yes, sir.
So my question was like how much time is ideal for that purpose to investigate?
Sir, insurance company does not appoint investigator in all the cases. Suppose there is small loss, a two-wheeler loss. Insurance company gone through the FIR and FR of police. The person, the officer sitting in the office feels that everything is right. Then he'll not appoint an investigator. Investigator is appointed in mostly cases when the person who is looking in the file, he sees that FIR has been delayed by 5 days, 10 days, 15 days, and something fishy comes into the mind. Then only the investigator is appointed. Not in every cases. Mostly in the cases of truck insurance, when there's the claim of 20 lakh, there's delay in FIR, the FIR doesn't show the clear picture, then the investigator is appointed. Otherwise, investigator go on the spot, talk to the people around, gives the report within 5 to 10 days. He doesn't take much time, because what he does is, for example, you're given the FIR that from this place the theft has been committed. Now, what will investigator do? If we'll appoint an investigator, that investigator will go on the place, talk with the, suppose the theft took place from the nearby dhaba or a restaurant. What investigator will do? He'll go to the restaurant, he'll check the CCTV and talk to the restaurant owner, nearby people, to understand that is it real, because nearby people does know if there's a theft. It is not possible that the person within 100 meter doesn't know the ground, the theft. So within 5 to 10 days, and every company does it.
Correct. Thank you.
Yes. Some other question, if there is any other question? So further, we'll talk about PA claims, personal accident claims. In the policy, there are personal accident claims. In what we need to understand, what are personal accident claims? Personal accident claims is when a person, owner of the vehicle, is died in an accident, as I told you. If everything is right, we'll pay to the nominee of the person. Now we need to understand who is nominee, and does nominee no, is the whole sole owner. I mean, if suppose a person has met X person a nominee of the policy, and we have paid X person the 15 lakh rupees, then is it that the X person can take that money? No, he's a trustee. If something arises in the further course of action, the nominee will be liable to pay other people. Uh, we as an insurance company cannot reject the claim, cannot say that we will not pay to the nominee. If suppose a person has made his brother the nominee, A has made his brother nominee, and his willful, rightful legal heir, suppose his wife and his daughter, his son come to us that we are the legal heir, so you have to pay to us, will still pay to the brother, and the brother will then, if there is a dispute, the brother will pay to them or anything like that. If the court, if the case is there, brother will settle it. So it is through PA. In PA, what we need, personal accident claim, what we need is a postmortem report, FIR, to see FR or charge sheet to see authenticity of the claim, postmortem to see whether it is an accident or not. Further, DL, driving license of the driver and the owner. Suppose the owner was not driving the vehicle and he was sitting beside, or driver was driving, so we need the DL of the owner as well as driver. We need the DL of both the person. All right, RC, and if all these things come to us, we'll pay the claim if we see the claim is genuine. Now, if we talk about company in accordance to the all these consumer forum, it is slightly hard for the company to file the claim, the reply within 45 days. Right now, the
Sir, I have a question here.
Yes, sir.
You just said like if the accident happened in car, so you
Yes.
need to check the driver license and the owner's license.
Yes, sir.
Right. Suppose the lady is the owner of the car and she doesn't have driving license. In that case, what scenario will come?
So, if a person doesn't have a driving license at the time of taking of policy, you have to tell the insurance company that the owner of the vehicle doesn't have the driving license. Then the insurance company will not include PA claim.
Okay.
If you'll see the bifurcation, there is a premium for personal accident claim. So when you fill the form, they ask for it. The valid, do you possess a valid DL or you do not possess a valid DL? So if you do not possess a DL, you have to give it. The company will not give you the PA.
Understood. Understood.
Yeah. So what is valid DL? We also must understand what is valid DL. Merely having a DL does not mean that you have a valid DL. Suppose you're driving a truck with a DL of two-wheeler, four-wheeler, or commercial vehicle DL. That doesn't mean that you have a valid DL. You need a DL of truck for driving a truck. So if you are driving a hazardous goods, there's a training certificate. You need a training certificate. If you're driving in the hill areas, you need a DL for hill areas. So all those things does comprise in a valid DL. There are small things which insurance company do check. And if you do not possess a valid DL, this is a ground, except theft will reject the claim. In damage, PA will reject the claim if you do not have any valid DL. And most of the time, I think 100% time, consumer forum does take this plea and will favor insurance company also. If we have some other question regarding
I'm good from my side. Thank you, sir.
Okay. All right. So the new act has came across with alternate dispute redressal system, ADR. So this ADR will resolve the dispute uh, in a speedy way, and this will help insurance company and the insured both to to take the insured to take the compensation and the insurance company to redress the close the claim. So should we talk about the powers of new in the new act?
Yes, sir, please.
Yes, we can.
So in the new act, one interesting thing is there's liability on the celebrity also. Suppose a celebrity has wrongly endorsed a brand, then celebrity will also be held liable for it. Although it is this new act has been implemented, I have not seen anything like that. But as per the new act, it is there. So we believe that these ads of people, these celebrity, which claim to make your hair grow, whiteness, thin, fat, these all will be there. Let's see how it goes. And on the e-commerce, the change is on e-commerce site also. So in insurance context, e-commerce, if we connect e-commerce is if we connect it, it is through Policy Bazaar. Suppose you take in a policy from Policy Bazaar of Shriram General Insurance or any other company, and if the premium is not reached to the insurance company, we are not issued the policy, and the facilitator Policy Bazaar is at fault, then Policy Bazaar or any other facilitator, any other online brand or platform shall also be held liable under the new act. So you can also make party to the these e-commerce, these platforms in the new act. Now, in the new act, the commission will attempt to dispose a complaint within 3 months if a complaint does not require analysis or testing of commodities. Now you'll say that, sir, there are cases which are lingering on for 4 years, 5 years, and commissions are not disposing it. So they have made it that that does not require those cases that does not require analysis or testing. There are some cases in insurance companies which required expert opinion. So for those cases, the case may linger on for a bit. And in a matter of medical negligence, in the previous act, medical negligence was not a part of it. In the new act, medical negligence is also part. Commission court will take more than 5 months, as it is hard to understand the technicalities of medical matters. Now, the mediation cell are formed, and it is defined in section chapter 5, section 74 to 81. So in the first hearing or at any stage, if district commission feel that there are chances of settlement, then it may direct parties or to give in writing within 5 days their consent regarding settlement as per the provision of chapter 5 of the act. In case there is consent of both the parties, the same shall be referred to the mediation cell. Now, power of review is also given to district forum under section 40 and state commission under section 50 of the act. District consumer commission, previously we used to say district consumer forum, now it is commission. Now district consumer commission can review its order in case of any error is found on the record. If application is filed within 30 days of the order, previously no such review powers given. I'll give you an example. Previously, if the court was instead of writing 1 lakh rupee has written 10 lakh rupees, And even the code DCF, District Consumer Forum, knows that I have made a mistake in writing. In there is a technical mistake. The award was of 1 lakh rupees, and we have written it in 10 lakh rupees. Then also we used to go to the State Commission for review, because District Consumer Forum doesn't have that power. So now the district forums and state commission has those powers to redress those issues. Now, state commission has the power to transfer any case pending in district forum in any other district in forum in case application is filed by party under section 48 of the act. Previously, there was no such power was given. Under section 61, National Commission has power to set aside ex parte order passed by it on its own self. So these majorly are the changes. In the last lecture, you already know the major difference and of these CCPA, how CCPA works. But in context to the insurance companies, this is how insurance company reject the claims, and then you can go to the consumer court, ombudsman. You can either go to the ombudsman commission, ombudsman, insurance ombudsman, then to the consumer court, or directly come to the consumer courts, and the issue has been redressed. So if there's any practical question from your side regarding insurance, I'll be happy to resolve.
Sir, this one question related to celebrity part.
Yes, sir.
Like how it is implemented, we have never seen any case related to this one. Like it is applicable in every field, right? Like we have seen the many ads which is really harmful for the common people, like Vimal Gutka, or those things. The big celebrities are doing such kind of endorsement advertisements. So, like how they can be held liable for this?
To be very honest, we as advocates are also looking at it, and I believe within a month or 2 or 3 months, some PIL shall be filed under the new act. But how they are liable, I'll tell you how. See, whenever you endorse some brand, we are not talking about those things that can happen. But for example, Vimal Gutka, as you said about Vimal Gutka, that doesn't do any good. It is harmful. It is written on the packet that having this is harmful to your health. And after that, you are endorsing it. It clearly shows that there is been you are misguiding the people. You are misguiding everyone. Now there are also ads of Protein X, Complan, but that do hold some research that yes, they do have some protein. I mean, they will have less protein, but they have protein. So in those matters, celebrities will not be held liable. But for these tobacco products, I believe tobacco products, fairness products, as we are aware, our court also has given a judgment in fairness products. After that, that only Fair and Lovely has changed its name from fair to something lovely. They have made it a lovely. So they are working on it. Courts are working on it, and I think within this year, let's see how this new act will work. Till date, no case has been filed against the celebrity, but those things which are we have seen that they do not hold any scientific level, no research, in those cases definitely the celebrities will be held liable, and they also need to pay fine. The brand will also pay the fine, and they will also pay the fine. So let's see.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Any other question related to insurance sector?
So my question is related to health insurance. And last year we had COVID, and the entire insurance regard to health was in huge demand. And I had seen like with certain claims, it happened in our circle also that some insurance companies were not willing to cover certain sectors. So how is that all about? And what do you think like after some years, how it will be like, especially after COVID?
See, in respect to health insurance, uh, the whenever you take the policy, the insurance, there are diseases which are covered in the health insurances. If you take a basic plan, they cover 10 diseases. If you take a higher plan, they cover 20, 30, as we all know. COVID was something new for them also. So they have not taken it into consideration. The policies were issued and the claim does arise. The courts, although in these matters, have directed the insurance companies to pay the claim. So, in see what insurance company, there was one question of claim settlement also. When you see the claim settlement ratio, what is claim settlement ratio? Let me clear that. Your claim is of 10 lakh rupees. All right. If the company has paid 5 lakh rupees, then also it is a settled claim. If your claim is of 10 lakh, company paid 5 lakh, it is not that they have paid half the claim. It is counted as a settled claim. So what in health insurance, what occurred, what happened was, health insurance companies had given them a claim, but less claim. Where the person was agreed, they have given them the less claim. If not, then they have filed the consumer cases. But the court is of the opinion that health insurance companies will have to pay compensation to the COVID patients. So
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Sir, I have a question related to this same health insurance.
yes, sir.
Like a person is hospitalized in the last week of the month, and the policy is going to expire very next after 2 days, right? Just hospitalized, and policy is ending after 2 days during the hospitalization.
Right.
Now, the person who is hospitalized, renewal is pending for insurance, suppose, and at the moment he wants to renew the insurance. Will company allow to be like get the insurance renewed, or they can deny if it is a major accident or some major surgery or some major expenses is to be covered?
Right. See, the health insurance companies will have to renew the insurance, but there will be some changes. Suppose you're not taking the any claim from last 5 years. The health insurance company will increase your the amount of coverage, and sometimes they reward you from giving some extra perks and everything. When you were admitted 2 days before the expiry of the policy and you want to renew the policy, the insurance company cannot deny for renewable, but the premium will change, because now you're suffering from that disease. Are you getting my point? Suppose you were not suffering from health disease, and you were giving you're given declaration that I do not suffer from heart disease. So the premium was according to the uh, that there was no disease. But now if there's you're a heart patient, that premium will change. They will have to renew the policy, but premiums will change.
Like in this specific question, I want to ask, some person has got accident
Yes, sir.
and admitted, and
Yes, sir.
there is a, due to accident, there is a major surgery which like a lot of expenses are there.
Yes, sir.
And insurance renewal amount is already known because those are advertised many months back, like this will be our renewal amount.
Yes,
Like,
sir.
in the moment he wants the patient wants to renew the insurance, which is about to ending in next 2 days. So will it be possible with the same premium amount, or
No,
still
not with the same premium, because they will take away the those amount, the perks they were giving. Suppose when we do not take the, like in insurance also, in general motor insurance also, if a person doesn't take the claim, we give NCB, no claim bonus.
Right.
So the premium is reduced. Now the premium will increase because you're already been in the hospitalized and the surgery is there. Those premium will increase, but the company will have to renew.
Is
No
there
doubt
any
about
legal bonding that company have to renew this one, or they can deny also to renew the insurance?
Till date there is no legal bonding, because a company can deny if he wants, if the company wants, but the company must have some ground, some major ground to deny. Like in motor policy also, we can deny. If a person has taken the claim for 3 or 4 times, we can cancel the policy and we can deny for the renews. But that has to be, there has to be some ground to deny. Most of the cases the company cannot deny. If there's authentic, once he's been admitted, company cannot deny. You can approach to the consumer court, and the consumer court will make them pay the amount. Just one thing, that you must possess something, some intimation that you have given to the company for the renew. If you do have that, some record, some email and anything, then you can approach to the consumer courts. There
Thank
must
you.
be some evidence.
Thank you, sir. Thank
Sir,
you.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
This question is regarding the vehicle insurance. So nowadays, the the costliest SUVs, the consumers pay a huge insurance amount. Now, in the event of a severe accident, it has been noticed that some of the insurance companies, who see that the claim amount will be very high, so they cleverly try to convert that to a bad claim, and then thereby they give 50% amount and nullify the contract. So how the consumer forum support the individuals in this regard?
So now we are talking about settlement of claims on non-standard basis or substandard basis. It is not that insurance company have this right to deduct the amount on its own will. Suppose there is an accident, and as I told you, there's a negligence or a theft, there's a negligence. So, or let's say there's a theft, and you're when insurance company asks for both the keys of the vehicle, insurance company do ask for the keys, because if there's a theft and insurance company says that you were at the negligent part, you say no, I was not negligent. The insurance company will ask you for both the keys, and you are only able to provide one key, and you give in declaration that I kept one key in the vehicle only, and
No, sir.
as a result
Sir, hold on a minute.
Yeah.
Let me rephrase my question. There is a severe accident, car accident, and the insurance company is estimating the claim amount to be very high. And in such case, what has been seen that insurance companies always choose to declare that kind of claim as a bad claim. Thereby they pay 50% of the claim amount, and they cancel the contract. So this has been seen in the past.
If the person does not hold any documents, suppose there's a requirement of permit and the vehicle does not hold permit, then insurance company will give you an offer to that what we'll do is we'll reduce the claim to 40%, 50%. Do you agree? If you do not agree, then you can go to the consumer forum. That's what I said, the claim settlement ratio. If 40%, 50%, 60%, 70% has been given by the insurance company, and other party is willing to take that amount because of some violation of policy term and condition, that is treated as a settlement. But if you do not agree, anyway, you can go to the consumer forum. If you think that no, there's no violation being made by your side, because I'll tell you what happens is there are grounds. You said a major accident occurred. In major accident also, there are grounds that vehicle does not hold some valid document. The person does not hold valid DL. Then insurance company will give offer. Sometimes insurance company do give some offer. Suppose that vehicle has made some changes in it that doesn't cover under the policy or something like that. So for example, in fire accident, most of the fire accident is are there because they install LPG or any other gas cylinder gas thing, and they do not intimate insurance company. They do not go to the authorized showroom to get it installed. So sometimes these things occur. So insurance company, only after if there is violation of policy term and condition or something on your part, then only you can do it on non-standard basis. Everything is right. Insurance company has no right to do it.
Yeah. So actually, the key point that I was trying to get some answer from you is the situation where insurance company use the term bad claim. So is that something like this? This is from my
No.
own experience.
There is no term as bad claim. Bad claim doesn't count, and we either repudiate the claim if you do not agree to the amount that they are asking for. There's no term as bad claim. I mean, bad claim is nothing in the dictionary of the insurance company. No
Yeah,
claim is bad. Either it's been rejected by the insurance company, or is been settled, or is settled on non-standard basis. Non-standard basis, as I told you, there has to be some violation.
got it.
We can in short we can say that insurance company also try to mediate sometimes. For example, there is some non-submission of documents from your side. So insurance company try to mediate ki, okay, we'll deduct 25% and give it to you, because we also know that we'll go to the consumer court, then also the 25% will be reduced. For example, in NCB claims, as I told you, in no claim bonus NCB, if you're taking the discount of 20% in the premium, it, for example, you're given 20% less premium, then the compensation will also be 20% less. So sometimes insurance company asks for it, that you're giving the premium 20% less, we are giving you the compensation 20% less. If you agree to it, okay. If you do not agree, then the claim is rejected.
Got it, sir.
Yeah. Do you have any other question?
One question, sir. I mean, what kind of questions that may come from this topic in the exams?
If we talk about new Consumer Act and Consumer Act, there can be upon the pecuniary jurisdiction. What are the amount on this? These are the major questions. Pecuniary jurisdictions. Then there can be from the new CCPA, that who comprises of CCPA and in how many blocks there are CCPA. Then the composition of the courts, as I told you, in the district forum, there is one president, 2 members. 50% members from judicial officer and 50% from social backgrounds. For example, from someone from the NGO, someone from the consumer background, one member is like that. In state commission, there is 1 president and 4 members, and national commission, there is 1 president, 4 members, like that only. So on the composition, it can come who can be a president in the lower district forum, current or retired magistrate. then in the then the state commission, current or retired high court judge, in the national commission, retired or current Supreme Court judge. So these are the major questions, and mostly upon the in how many days reply has to be filed. So it is 30 plus 15. It is not 45. We make a mistake in the exam that we write 45 days. It is not 45. It is 30 days. If your reply is not able to, you are not able to file a reply, and it is upon the court discretion to extend it to 15 days. So these are the important questions that can come.
Sir,
Thank you, sir.
Sir, my question is, you said that no claim bonus, so it's not a good idea to take no claim bonus while taking.
Sorry, sir. Can you be
mean,
a little?
I'm audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. I'm saying that you said like no claim bonus, 20% discount have taken, and the time of settlement 20% they are giving some offer. So it's not a good idea to claim, to opt the no claim bonus while taking a renewal of insurance.
Sir, no claim bonus is only given as a discount or as a reward by the company if you're not taking the claims in the previous year.
Yeah.
All right. So the insurance contract is on trust. It is upon the trust of the both the parties. If you are given a declaration that I have not taken the claim in the previous year, company will give you a discount.
Fine.
Now, as you are saying that it is a not a good idea to take a NCB, you take NCB. If you're not taking the any claim in the previous year, NCB should be taken. But
Correct.
if you're taking the claim, you should not
That's right.
give wrong declaration.
Understood.
Yeah, because
Fine.
the issue is the wrong declaration.
Understood. I thought I have taken in a wrong way, because I got confusion in here. Like I have taken no claim bonus,
So,
and something mishappened done. And
let me tell you, in the National Commission in this matter is slightly before there was a case Harjinder, in which National Commission said that insurance company can reject a claim because of the fact that when you given a declaration that is wrong, then the contract is void. Are you getting my point? So
Yes,
the
sir, yes,
contract is void, so you can reject a claim. But in New India Assurance versus Naresh Kumar, National Commission said that insurance company cannot take the shield that you're taking the wrong declaration, so I'll reject the whole of the claim. Right? So you
Right.
do one thing, you deduct it in proportionate basis. So
Right.
insurance companies also need to change its line, because sometimes when court has said that you deduct it proportionately, we have to change our line according to the current laws and the IRDA guidelines. So yeah.
Fine, sir. Thank you, sir.
Any other question, please?
I think no questions, sir.
All right, sir.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. I guess Vilas sir is not around.
Yeah, Vilas sir has
He's not
said
around. So
me. Hello, am I audible?
yeah. Please.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir, for giving this webinar. And Vilas sir, from Vilas sir side also, I'm saying thank you to you, and from all the students. Abhilash sir has went on some emergency meeting just now, so inform me to give the words to you. So it was a very nice webinar and full of information. It is covering very wide area. Actually, everyone is somewhere related with motor insurance, general insurance. Every people have some vehicles, so it is a we cannot imagine like how much wide area this is in the legal field. So Thank you for all of the answers for the questions. They are very good questions, and thank you for conducting this webinar, sir. Thank you very much. And from Abhilash sir side and from all of the students, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Anyone want to say a few words? Welcome. Then we'll ending this session.
Thank you, sir. It was very much crystal clear, and you explained quite clearly. And for the past 1 hour, most of doubts which we have generally, just not being law students, as being general citizens of this country also. So it was nice and enlightening, and I believe like we can join in future lectures also. Thank you, sir.
The insurance sector as a whole is very wide. It does take some time to understand the whole sector and how it works. So only by there's many doubts there. After this session also we'll come across some doubts, then you can ask me.
Yeah, surely this is very wide area and full of dispute also. There are claim dispute, company dispute, and there are false claim. This is very like complex area.
The issue is there, the law is sometimes silent and you cannot predict every loss. Everything every day there's something new. So there's sometimes the policy condition is also silent, and there's some or the other loopholes. Then only we need to amend the act and everything. So it is a wide area. If anything comes into your mind also after this, you can ask me. Yeah.
Thank you for this very nice and full of information webinar. Thank you very
sir.
much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
So
The session was very informative. I really appreciate your efforts, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
thank you. Bye bye, everyone.